Hi, Forest Hill family. It's Pastor Daniel Blaylock. I wanted to give you an update about the weekend upcoming for us at Forest Hill and what our plans are going forward. I know that many of you have been watching the news and you've been made very aware of the uptick in COVID-19 cases in our county. Yesterday, Mobile County saw 1,700 new cases. That's the largest jump in a single day since the crisis began. Many of you have been watching that. I know by now you've also been made aware of the fact that there is a mask ordinance, both citywide and countywide, that we are under. Our health professionals have urged our leaders to mandate that now as a safety precaution. Another bit of news that many of you are aware of by now through our calling post messages was that we did have one volunteer from the Forest Hill team who tested positive for COVID-19 late this past week. So they're part of that number. Thankfully, they're doing well and recovering at home. They actually show no symptoms at this point. We're thankful for that and pray that continues for them. However, it does bring it very close to home for us as a congregation. This is not theoretical. We have an actual case of someone who was on our volunteer team helping last Sunday who's tested positive this week. Their contact with our congregation would have been very minimal for the most part, so we are not greatly alarmed about it, and yet we do not want to take it lightly. We want to do all that we can to ensure that those who gather on our campus can do so safely with the best possible chance of remaining healthy. In light of that, I wanted to talk to you about our plan going forward for this upcoming weekend, in light of both things happening in our community and in our congregation. I've spoken with our staff. I've also met with our pastor's council to discuss some safety protocols that we could layer in going forward for the next few weeks to help us continue to gather. At this point, we are deciding to continue with on-campus services and gatherings. However, we want to add some safety measures to guarantee our health. Let me walk through those with you. Our approach is both a combination of offense and defense. On the offense, something we do before you arrive every single week is we deeply clean all the spaces where we will be meeting or gathering. That includes surfaces that are often touched, deep cleaning of places where we're going to be sitting and gathering. We do that every week with products that are on the recommendation list of the CDC and have been proven to kill COVID-19 germs. As an extra layer of safety and precaution this week, we have contracted with a professional cleaning service to come in and use a fogger machine to treat our space. So we're doing that just as an extra layer of precaution. Okay, so we do those things on the offense. We're also acquiring such a machine that we can use going forward in-house week by week. That'll be a good practice not only for COVID-19, but anytime there are seasonal illnesses going on. That would help us layer in some protection. Let's talk about defense, though. What can you do once you arrive on campus to help us keep you safe? Our council and our staff have decided on some common sense measures that we're asking everyone to comply with. In fact, we're not simply asking, we're insisting. These decisions were not made by the city council. They were made by the deacons and leaders of your church. And so we will be enforcing them this weekend when you come on campus. Number one, we're going to be doing temperature checks for every person who comes onto our property. Now, our children's department had already been doing this, both for workers and for children who come on campus. Beginning this Sunday, everyone who attends our services will receive a temperature check from a no-contact thermometer at the door. If your temperature registers 100.4 degrees or above, you will not be allowed to come into the service. Many people don't know they have a temperature, and so we're going to help you keep each other safe by checking as you enter. The second thing that our council is requiring of those who enter our services this weekend is going to be to wear a face covering. Again, I know that many of us are on very different places about this issue personally. Some of us rejoiced over the city's decision to make them mandatory. Others of us believe that they really offer no real protection at all, and so we have not participated in wearing them. Wherever you may be personally, here's the deal. This is the decision that our leaders have made at the local church level, and we're going to require masks to be worn. Many people say, Pastor, what's the point? We know that the microbe can pass through the mesh of a mask and still be transmitted. I understand that. But here's what we also understand. The COVID-19 virus does not normally pass as a single microbe from one person to the other. It is generally carried in the saliva or spit particles that come from our mouths whenever we sneeze or cough or sing or speak. And while the mask might not prevent a single microbe from passing through, they do show some effectiveness at holding back these larger particles of water vapor that would come from our mouths when we sing or cough or sneeze. Because there is some measure of safety added by them, our council has decided to require them for services when we gather. The only exception to this, you will notice, will be in our children's department. Following the guidelines set by our city, children 10 and under are not required to wear a mask. However, we leave that to parental discretion, and if your child is able to do so, we would encourage them to wear one as well. Temperature checks, number 2, mask wearing. Number 3, physical contact. We're asking you to refrain from physical contact, from physical touch with one another for the next few weeks. Hugging, handshaking, most of us have already been refraining from that. Some of us not so much. We're also asking you, let's forego the fist bumping and the elbow bumping, and let's just give each other a wave or smile. How are you? That'll suffice for the next few weeks, okay? We're doing our best to keep one another safe. It's hard to know what measure of comfort someone else might have, and so we're just going to all play by the same rules when it comes to that. The fourth and final one is self-awareness. We're asking you to practice good self-awareness. The best governance is self-governance. If you are exhibiting symptoms that could indicate COVID-19, we ask you to stay home and join us in one of our online services on a social media platform like Facebook or YouTube. We are going to ask you when you come on campus to cooperate with our ushers and greeters as they seat you safely distanced apart by family groups. We're going to ask you to dismiss every service in an orderly fashion so that we don't congregate at the exits whenever we leave. And I'm going to ask you to cooperate with my greeters and my usher team. Some of them have gotten flack from a few people lately about the protocols we put in place. They're just doing what I've asked them to do. If you have a problem with a policy, please voice that to me or express your concern to a member of our staff or a member of our pastor's council. They are the people who are making policy, okay? Our ushers and our greeters are just enforcing it. They're not the people to air your complaint to. That would be me. So, temperature checks, mask wearing, refraining from physical contact, practicing good self-awareness. This is what we'll be doing this weekend, okay? If you feel uncomfortable in light of the fact that we have had an active case on campus, I understand that. If you want to stay home for the next couple of weeks and allow this to hopefully reset itself in our community as we increase safety protocols, I completely leave that to your judgment. Please know we love you. Your safety is a priority for us. And we're allowing each family and each person to make their own decision about when they're ready to gather on campus again. That's between you and the Lord, okay? That's a personal decision for you, and I will leave that there. There's no judgment from us, whatever you decide to do. However, for those who are wanting to meet on campus for in-person gatherings, we're going to do our very best to practice good common sense safety measures so that we can do so safely as possible. I hope to see you this weekend at the Hill. We're going to be celebrating God and Country this Independence Day weekend, and I do hope you will join us if you feel comfortable to do so. If not, we hope to see you online. You can still give online, foresthillcog.org, and you can find our services on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our various social media platforms. God bless you. God bless America. Hope to see you this weekend.